Invokiere, Herr der Jäger. Lasse meine Hand ruhig, mein Zielauge sicher und meine Füße flink sein. Und sollte das Schlimmste sich ereignen, gewähre mir Vergebung.
Herzlich willkommen zum Livestream-Event von The Blood of Dawnwalker. Einen Livestream-Trailer habe ich dazu gemacht, auf Deutsch. Das Spiel wird es auch in Deutsch geben und ich denke, jetzt geht's gleich los und bin mega gespannt. Let's do it.
Ever get that feeling that someone is watching you, even if you're like totally alone?
No matter the playstyle you decide on, it's all about immersion.
Yeah, okay, stop here.
We really did our best to create the world which feels real.
There's one more thing we have to do.
Ja, schönen guten Abend, mein lieber Frank, schönen guten Abend, Alex. 𝗟𝗶𝘃𝗃𝗃, das Team vom Game Director.
Hi everyone and
von
welcome
Witcher 3.
to the Blood of Dawnwalker gameplay reveal event. My name is Dominika, I'm the community lead here at 𝗟𝗶𝘃𝗃 and I am joined by a familiar face, a content creator, streamer, YouTuber and my co-host for today, Lionheart.
Thank you so much, Dominika, and hello everybody. You are joining us here live in the 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗃 studio once again, and this time on the first day of the astronomical summer.
Yeah.
Dominika, you guys really do think about these stream dates, don't you?
Yeah, I think it makes it a bit more fun, you know. We are going to talk about magic today, among other topics. And what's a better occasion than the summer solstice? This is supposed to be the day when our connection to magic is the strongest, and we have all these different rituals and celebrations connected to it, and to the sun and light in general.
That's true. I suppose it fits the theme really well.
Yeah.
It adds a little bit more to that mystery. And of course, we want to thank all of you for joining us live today, whether you're watching along in our own stream or with one of the wonderful content creators who decided to co-stream this event. Welcome in, everybody. But perhaps this is the first time that you have seen anything related to the Blood of Dawnwalker. So, Dominika, how about we catch them up?
Of course. The Blood of Dawnwalker is the first chapter of a brand new role-playing saga created by us here at 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗃. And it's a dark fantasy, narrative-driven, epic adventure. You know, and it's full of twists and it's great.
It is going to be quite the game. And if you didn't see the previous stream, perhaps you can check out the YouTube channel as well. The Dawnwalker YouTube channel has all of the information from the previous stream. You will be able to learn more about the world and also like the main concepts of the game as well. But that was last time. Dominika, we know why everybody's here today, right?
Yeah, we do. And we have a lot to show you and a lot to talk about. So why don't we just jump
Das
straight
ist
into
gut
it?
für Sie.
No.
Eine nette Explosion, dann und wann, hält den Geist
We
wach.
are going to show you some gameplay.
Hello,
but we're
Martin.
going to pull it back just a tiny bit. Let's give them an overview of what they can expect, right?
Okay.
So first, straight out of the gate, it is that gameplay.
Yes, you'll see 19-20 minutes of gameplay in total. We are going to show you a fragment of a quest, but we will be focusing on the gameplay features and not on the story, not to spoil anything for you. You'll see 2 examples of how we can approach that one quest. First, from the day perspective, with Coen as a human, with his sword fighting skills and magic, of course, and then during the night with some vampiric abilities at his disposal.
Looks like you're going to get to see a little bit of everything. And what you're going to see, all of it is taken in engine, right?
Yes, we recorded it on PC, on a build from last week, actually. We want to show you what the game looks like right now. And yes, you'll see some glitches and imperfections, but this is not the final product, of course. We'll be entering the beta stage of development soon, so we have a lot of polishing still to do, including next iterations of animations, lighting, visuals in general, and optimization, of course.
Of course, but I think it's really refreshing that we're going to get to see where the game really is right now, rather than where maybe it might be if we weren't using the engine.
Yeah.
I think it's really good and deserves some props for that. I think that's really, really cool. But of course, we are not just going to give you gameplay and send you off into the night. That would be crazy. We have some very, very talented devs here at Rebel Wolves, and what we're going to do is we're going to get some insight from them. They're going to dive deeper into all of this content, all of the footage you're going to see. They're going to talk more about the magic system, traversal, and of course, the combat as well. But there is more. It would not be a Rebel Wolf stream without an extra special performance, right?
It will be super special. I cannot wait for you guys to see it, but that's not all.
True,
That's
it
not all.
just keeps coming.
Yeah.
In the last couple of weeks, we've been hosting a Q&A over in the Discord for the Blood of Dawnwalker, and Dominika and I are going to do our very best to answer as many of those questions as we can throughout the course of the stream.
Yeah.
We will also have some people checking in on the live chats, so do get some questions there. You never know. They might just make it through to us.
Yeah. Okay, so without further ado, let's see some gameplay of the Blood of Dawnwalker. And for those of you wondering, yes, it will be available in 4K on YouTube right afterwards.
Take it away.
Hello, my name is Daniel Sadowski and I'm the design director at Rebel Wolves. I would like to welcome you to the Blood of Dawnwalker summer gameplay video. Our game is a story-driven, open-world dark fantasy RPG set in medieval Europe. The game is currently in pre-beta stage, and what we are going to show you is just a part of one of the mid-game quests. It's a really cool story involving legendary swords and a haunted almshouse, but today we'll focus on showcasing our gameplay systems. We're starting on the outskirts of 𝗟𝗏𝗃, the game's largest city and the capital of 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗃. From here, we could head anywhere the eye can see, explore ancient ruins or sabotage vampire blood transports. But it's not just about where or when you go. It's also about how you approach the main quest and shape the story, making each playthrough uniquely your own. For now, we're following the road. Coen is on his way to the city's cathedral, chasing leads about a powerful weapon said to be hidden
Es ist
in
eine
its
Frequenz
crypts.
oder ein Mittelstück aus einer
But
Quest, das sieht
first,
man auch über
we'll have
mir.
to deal with some bandits who camped out by the main road. Traveling through 𝗟𝗏𝗃𝗀 is never boring. The world is dense with quests, random encounters, and locations steep in lore. This will be a great opportunity to show you our combat system. Our goal was to make the player feel like a real swordmaster who closely observes his enemies. We'll begin this fight by using acrid dust to stun one of the enemies. Now, when you attack, you choose one of 4 directions: up, down, left or right, in order to hit the opponent where he's
Du siehst
unable to
eindeutig,
attack.
dass das
And
von dem Chef von
similarly,
Witcher
when
3
defending,
ist.
you have to take note of the enemy's intent and the
Die
direction
Musik,
of
der
the attack.
Style.
On the left side of the screen, just above Cohen's health, you have activation charges that will be filled in with
Es ist
each
ein
successful attack, block and
Story,
parry.
Dark Fantasy
Once they are full,
Rollenspiel.
you can use one of the active abilities which allow you to take a more tactical approach to fighting. We started the fight by throwing some acrid dust. And now let's cast Burning Blood. It's a hex which boils the enemy's blood and burns their skin, dealing physical damage over time. Alright, time to finish this fight. Let's use the final activation charge to cast the artery attack, which actually
Kopf ab, gefällt mir schon das Spiel.
decapitated the last
Ja,
opponent.
spielt halt
Our hero quickly dispatched the bandits,
Osteuropa,
so let's loot a few items
der
they've left
Jahrhundertwende.
behind and open the inventory.
zu einer Zeit, wo die Pest im Prinzip ja, ein Drittel
First of
der
all,
Menschheit
let's
weggerafft hat.
replenish our health by eating something. And then
Oh, es
take
gibt
a
sogar
closer
Salami.
look at
Geiler
this
Scheiß.
cool-looking weapon we just picked up. Ah, it has better
Eine bessere
stats
Waffe.
than our current weapon, so let's equip it right now.
Also man kann auch
We've also
Builds
leveled
bauen,
up, so let's
Skill
use this
bauen.
opportunity to spend the newly acquired skill point in one of Cohen's skill trees. The skills in the Blood of
20% größere
Dawnwalker are
Heilung.
divided into 3 trees. One for human, one for vampire, and one shared between the 2. We also have an active abilities panel. We can use it to unlock additional abilities to use during combat. Note that during the day, the health bar is not regenerating. You need to find consumables like the one we've just eaten. The hexes we've just used also consume some of Cohen's health. Be aware of that. The way our magic system works, there's always a price to pay for manipulating reality.
Hier
But
spielen sie es
we
vom
can make it
PC
sting
aus,
a
es
bit
gibt es
less.
aber auf
Let's level up
Xbox
the
und
frugal
auf der
witchcraft
PS5.
skill. So next time
Also auf
we'll
allen
cast a hex,
Konsolen.
it'll
Es wird
consume
eine deutsche
fewer of
Version
Cohen's
geben,
health points.
logischerweise.
Now that we've wrapped up the encounter with
logisch
the
ist es
bandits,
mittlerweile
we
nicht
can be
mehr.
on our way to get inside the city.
Deswegen schaut euch
Right
einfach
now,
mal meinen
Cohen
Trailer
hasn't
an.
done enough to ruffle
Das
the
ist der
Vampire
deutsche
Lord's
Trailer zu dem
feathers,
Spiel.
so the gods will just wave us through. But the more damage you cause, the more suspicious and aggressive they'll become. So when you play the game yourself, you'll have to decide whether you want to challenge the vampires openly, or lay low until you're ready to
Die Kamera
strike
ist aber
and
echt nah
surprise
dran
them.
an ihm. Ja. Und der Chef von Rebel Moon, von dem Studio, was das entwickelt, ist der ehemalige Chef vom Spiel von Witcher 3. Der vor 5, 6 Jahren sein eigenes
This
Spiel
is the
aufgemacht
rich
hat.
district of the city, Silberkreis. There's also
Ja,
Altamar,
ja, das Menü,
Neustadt
gerade das
and the
Skillmenü
Middens.
scheint sehr einfach gehalten zu
Each
sein.
of the boroughs
Und es ist
has
auch
its
nur
own
der
feel
erste
and
Teil.
character.
Na? Die haben vor, da ein ganzes Dark Fantasy Universum aufzubauen. Es ist nur der erste Teil.
Looming high over the city is Brancis's castle, Greifberg. He took it over when he slaughtered
ich-
the human ruler of the valley, Skender,
Erinnert
as
euch
shown
mal an das
in the trailer we
Skillsystem
shared with
von
you earlier in
Assassin's
January
Creed
this year.
Valhalla.
In order to complete
Mit
the main
4000
quest and save
Punkten.
your family,
Völlig irre.
you'll have to storm the castle, alone or with help of friendly NPCs. We could do it right now if we wanted, but it
Frühes
would be super
Beta-Gameplay.
challenging.
Selbst das ist typisch Witcher. Dass das, was die erzählen, oben drüber steht. Alter. Sag mal, wie hieß denn die große Stadt,
Let's
wenn du
check
nach
the
Witcher
map.
reinreitest?
The
Das erste
cathedral
Mal.
is
Notre
really
Dame,
close.
nee, halt. Wie hieß das?
There's plenty of other places to see and things to do here. A couple of inns, a medic, a blacksmith, an armorer, and other merchants.
Okay, es gibt einen Zauberer, es gibt eine Schmiede.
You can see that not only the
Ein
vampires
Kleidermacher, wenn
came
ich das
out of
richtig
the
verstanden
shadows.
habe.
This creature on the right is called an 𝗟𝗺𝗃. Look around,
𝗟𝗺𝗃
especially
ist
at
das.
night, and you'll learn humans have lots to fear, not just the vampires. And here we can see guards
hieß denn
pounding
nur
on
diese
some poor
Stadt?
guys' doors.
What is it about?
Das erinnert mich super an Witcher 3, wenn du in diese Stadt reinreitest mit Geralt von Riva. Ohne Witz.
It's just one of many different community scenes we're implementing in the game. Watch them closely when you play, as they might point you to new quests and hidden treasures, or signal changes in the game's world.
Naja, oder vom Erfinder. Weil der das Studio gegründet hat, der hat ja Witcher 3 gemacht. Ja, vom Game Director ist ja... Vom Game Director von Witcher 3 ist dieses Spiel, also dieses Spiel und auch das Studio. Und du siehst halt diese Handschrift einfach, ne? Vom ganzen Design auch her.
Okay, we are at the cathedral gates. Again, since Coen isn't yet wanted by
Scheint
the
auch sehr
vampire
bodenständig
regime
zu sein,
and
das
it's
Spiel.
daytime, we can simply walk inside.
The baptism of a newborn is a solemn moment, doubly so. A new life joins our flock, bringing happiness to its parents and to the congregation. Natus ex sanguine est, alitur sanguine, et in sanguine morietur. Ego te baptizo in nomine Dei. Amen.
Habe Eindruck in Galaxie hinterlassen. Genophage-Modifikation, Genophage-Heilmittel, Arbeit gegen Kollektoren, Entscheidungen, Fehler. Gehe vielleicht ein sonniges Plätzchen. Am Strand sitzen, Ozean anschauen, Muscheln sammeln.
Nach einer Stunde würden Sie durchdrehen.
Könnte Tests an den Muscheln durchführen.
Don't I know you from somewhere, young man? Laslia, maybe.
Ach du Scheiße.
I'm sorry, but you must
Auch
be
noch
mistaken.
Habt ihr das Zeit gesehen? Auf der linken Seite?
Perhaps. Perhaps. My memory isn't what it used to be.
Immer schön
Come with
speichern.
me.
Vor
I'll
Story-Mission.
take your confession.
Thank you, but I have no need for confession.
Ah, so you deem your conscience clear?
I wouldn't go that far. But I'm sure you're a busy man, Father. So while I appreciate the offer, I feel that my soul shouldn't be your priority.
I won't press the matter. You are quite correct. I have many other duties to attend to. But please remember that in order to be saved, we all need to repent. Myself included. I hope we can speak again soon. Good day to you, Coen.
What we saw right here was just one of many cutscenes we recorded for the game, which smoothly transitioned into a dialogue scene. We use cutscenes to highlight key scenes or showcase interesting bits of lore. Like this blood baptism. Creepy, isn't it? The core feature of the Blood of Dawnwalker is the dual gameplay loop. Remember, Coen may be a human during the day, but he turns into a vampire at night.
Also Cutscenen, wie wir es vorhin gesehen haben, jetzt bei der Bluttaufe des Kindes, sind Highlights des Spiels, also sie werden häufig vorkommen.
Depending on when you tackle a particular quest, what
Also wirklich richtig
choices you made
Storytelling,
earlier, whom you befriended,
ein
or whom you've
storygetriebenes
angered,
Rollenspiel.
your gameplay and story experience will be very, very different. So each quest
Aber
is
hey,
a
eine
complex
Bluttaufe in der
structure with
Kirche?
multiple possible
Geile
paths
Nummer, auf die
leading to
Idee
the
muss
end
erst mal
goal.
kommen.
We maximize players' freedom and agency, offering
nur
you
von
a
der Lore
narrative
schon her, ne?
sandbox to play in. I wonder what secrets may be concealed up there, just beyond Coen's reach. And how do we get there? It's impossible to do during the day, but come night, it's an entirely different story. Let us explain what we mean by taking our current quest as an example.
Ja, genau.
During the day, we got inside the cathedral without any
Genau das
problems,
Richtige für mich.
since it's open for all to see and
gehasst.
Coen doesn't yet stand out from
Bei Witcher gab's
crowds.
das doch auch, oder? War das bei
The
Witcher nicht?
scaffolds, though, are outside of his reach. But climbing them won't be a problem for the vampire, who has many more exploration abilities at his disposal. Bear in mind, Coen has not completed the
Tag-Nacht-Zyklus. Es
quest
gibt also
yet.
einen
What's more, there are
Tag-Nacht-Zyklus.
still a few clues to be found in order to solve this story. It's worth mentioning
2
that
Monde.
narrative sandbox also means
du hast
that
andere
we may
Fähigkeiten
completely
am
abandon
Tag
this
wie bei der
quest
Nacht.
and follow a different path to defeat Brensis. For today, we're focusing on the gameplay part, so let's see how we could tackle this particular quest during the night.
Das bedeutet also,
We're starting right after dusk as a vampire on the rooftops of 𝗟𝗏𝗃.
was
Right
jetzt
now,
die
we have
Entscheidung
22 days
angeht,
left
hat es
to
ja nachher einen
complete this
hohen
goal.
Wiederspielwert.
This
Was
counter is
passiert, wenn
always
du dich
displayed
nachher
and you will
anders
be warned
entscheidest?
each time it's pushed
Ja.
forward.
Das war ja bei
So
Witcher
you
auch
have to
so,
be
ne? Um
aware
das
of the
perfekte Ende
time,
zu bekommen,
and
brauchst
it's
du
more of a
bestimmte,
resource you'll be
also in
spending than
bestimmten
a racing
Quests, in
clock.
bestimmten Gesprächen, bestimmte Aussagen, die Geralt treffen musste, was Ciri
As
angeht.
a vampire, you'll see and experience the world from a different perspective. You can travel quickly and easily access places beyond the reach of regular humans. Let us show you what we mean. This is Shadow Step, a unique vampiric
Schattenschritt.
ability allowing Coen to jump
Wir
to almost any
porten
place
uns von
within
Dach
his
zu Dach.
reach. Now
Mit dem
let's take a good
Schattenschritt.
look around using the focus mode. This ability highlights objects of interest and loot. And there is something right here. This time it's just some items to grab, but on other occasions,
Das
who
ist super
knows,
oldschool,
you
ey.
might come across a hidden quest. Looks like our health is quite low. This is because, as a vampire, your health bar also represents your hunger level, and you start each night thirsting for blood. Remember, you have to quench this appetite in order to make full use of your vampire abilities.
Als
And
Vampir
drain
haben
in
wir auch
your
ein
monstrous nature
Hungerlevel.
around
Na, geiler
NPCs.
Scheiß.
Otherwise, you may end up draining someone important,
Aber
which
wir
may
sind ja
lead
kein
to
richtiger
unpredictable
Vampir.
consequences. We'd better feed then. Maybe on someone who is standing all alone. Like this drunkard. Let's grab him and use Voracious Bite ability. Unless you lose control due to hunger, you get to decide how much blood to drink. You can drain just a bit and knock your victim unconscious, or go all the way and kill them. And if you're adamant you don't
Geiler
want to
Scheiß.
hurt
Es gibt auch noch
innocent
verschiedene
humans,
Stufen, wie du die
you
aussaugen
can drink
kannst.
from animals and some
Ja?
other
Also wenn du
creatures.
komplett leer trinkst, ist er logischerweise tot. Ja? Moin Donnerklotschen.
Finally, we are at the cathedral, but it seems to be closed for the night, and the entrance gate is well guarded. Let's find another way in.
Ja, aber mal wieder ein gutes Oldschool-Spiel, warum nicht? Wenn es nachher echt sauber programmiert ist. Ich meine, das ist jetzt Prä-Alpha, also frühe Alpha-Phase. Frühe Beta-Phase, nicht Alpha-Phase. Ist... Und wenn es dann auch auf Deutsch
Shadow
ist
Step
und
is not the only
eine geile
vampiric
Story
ability
hat, und so
you're
scheint
gonna
es ja auch
learn
zu
during
sein.
your playthrough. Coen can also use plane shift to scale walls and even ceilings smoothly.
An der Wand klettern, wie geil. Also nicht klettern,
This will
laufen.
allow us to explore every nook and cranny of the cathedral.
Better be quiet. Is that 𝗟𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗃? What the hell is she doing here? What is she doing? Is that a ritual for the blood gods?
Die Blutgarde.
They're covering up the old paintings. Why? One of the workers must have left it.
Ja, aber es gab ja noch eine,
Sounds like
beim
the cathedral
Austrinken
complex is quite
gab es
big.
aber noch eine Zwischenstufe.
Main building, cloisters, inner courtyard.
Also vielleicht kannst du das Spiel sogar so durchspielen, ohne Zivilisten zu killen. Vielleicht gibt es dann da auch eine Trophäe oder
This
so.
was a scene
Weißt du, dass du immer
investigation,
nur ein Viertel
a
trinken
mechanic
darfst.
we
Also es gibt
used
viele,
to
viele
zoom in on
Möglichkeiten.
and showcase key clues.
Auch was die
This
Entscheidung
time we had a
bei
chance to
den
learn
Fragen
more about the
angeht und bei deinen
vampire's
Antworten,
plans.
dass sie
Looks
unterschiedlich
like they're
sind.
keen to cover up the old frescoes, so that's something we could
Deswegen
take a
immer
look
schön
at.
speichern in der Story-Mission.
This way we could learn
Oh,
more about the
Scheiße.
cathedral's past.
Aber es ist halt Dark Fantasy, ne? In einer Zeit der Pest.
Looks like we aren't alone here. Underneath us, there's a group of blood gods. Soldiers hooked up on vampire blood, which makes them stronger. And one of Brances's vampire allies. It's Xanthi, the oldest vampire in Vale Sangora, and quite a powerful lady. Let's descend and check what's going on.
Xanthi ist die älteste. Ist auch elegant, darunter zu rutschen. Der älteste Vampir. Okay. Ich bin so müde im Dunkeln. Ich wäre kein guter Vampir. Xanthi.
Come out.
Wie Spider-Man.
You're interfering with my task. Who are you?
Oh Gott. Ich bin nur der Hausmeister.
Very well. I don't have time for interruptions. Let us dispose of him. Quickly.
Ach, sie steuert die Typen, weil die auch Vampirblut in sich tragen. Und stärker sind als
Coen
normale.
is using his
Na
claws
prima,
to
das ist ja ein
attack when
Bossfight.
in vampire form. Blood guards are dual-wielding opponents. Their attacks are pretty strong. Of course, even when fighting with claws,
Aber seht ihr,
combat
er
is
kämpft
still
mit seinen
directional.
Krallen nachts.
Don't worry, Coen
Er
can
braucht doch
still
kein
use
Schwert,
his
oder?
sword as a vampire.
Das erinnert mich an diesen Typen in
Only
dem
after defeating all
DLC von
three of the
Witcher
blood
3.
guards, Xanthi deems
Ich
Coen
weiß nicht mehr, wie
worthy
der
of a
hieß. Der war da auch ein
challenge, and
Vampir.
she
Der hatte auch so
descends to
Krallen.
face him. She uses her blood control powers to cast a multitude of attacks, like her blood whips that hit Coen from left and right. Xanthi is protected by a powerful vampire ability. Once her stamina runs out, Coen will have an opportunity to strike and deal some damage. But be careful, cause Xanthi is quick to counterattack and she will also try to restore her blood. Meanwhile,
Guck mal,
look
die
at the
heilt sich hoch,
indicator
leck mich am
just below
Ärmel.
her health and
Ich lieb
stamina.
ja Gegner,
It's a
die sich
timer for the
hochheilen.
boiling blood skill that you've seen in the CGI trailer. So, if we don't hurry, the timer goes down to 0 and Coen will eventually explode.
Oh.
And we're dead. Remember, we were only mid-game here, and Xanthi is one of the game's most punishing enemies. Defeating her right here and right now is very much possible, but it would be hellishly difficult. A fun challenge for hardcore players.
Das ist genau meins. Lässt du dich erstmal
And I
platzen,
hope you
ey.
enjoyed that as much as I did. Now, I have been lucky enough to see this footage quite a few times now, and I feel like I get excited over something different every single time I see it.
Ja, du bist ja ein Dawnwalker, ne? Dawnwalker heißt ja Dämmerung. Ne?
Okay, so what's your favorite part?
Also du kannst ja auch tagsüber unterwegs sein, weil wahrscheinlich gibt es den einen oder anderen Vampir, den du nur tags killen kannst.
The same quest can feel so different.
Ja, du bist so eine Mischung wie Blade und Geralt oder so, weißt du?
No problem.
Also für die, die Blade nicht kennen,
Suspicious Priest Man.
richtig geile,
That's it. Suspicious
geile
Priest
Filme.
Man. But by night, I can't walk through the doors.
Das
I
ist
have
jetzt
to jump
eine
through the
Alpha,
rafters
eine
and,
Beta gewesen,
Florin
eine frühe
is nowhere
Beta.
to be found, but Xanthi and her bodyguards are staring me down. It's just so different.
Nächstes Jahr, dies Jahr
And
nicht.
it's just a small part of it because we could go back, load the game, and try to explore the cathedral without
Also ich gehe
drawing
davon
anyone's
aus,
attention. We could also try to get to Xanthi when
26.
she's not surrounded by the blood guards.
Kommt's raus,
and,
früher nicht.
Just like other vampire allies of Brancis, she also has her own quest.
Also ist jetzt eine frühe Beta gewesen. Also keine Alpha mehr.
Explore that and
Eine frühe Beta.
find out more about her past, her motivations.
Lief aber auch
and
gut,
maybe
wobei
even
es auf dem
try
PC
reasoning with
gespielt
her.
ist, das darf man dabei nicht
She
vergessen.
does not look reasonable. I'm not gonna lie. She does not look reasonable, but
Da läuft ja
she does look
grundlegend
scary,
eigentlich
so I will
einfacher
do
oder
my best to
besser, ne? Auf
reason
einem
with her. That is a
High-End-PC.
great idea.
Das machen sie ja sehr häufig.
Even
Was ich
within
aber
the
schön
game
fand,
now,
dass sie
the
von
fact that so
vornherein
much can
gesagt
change
haben
based
vorhin,
on what I
naja, es
do,
könnte vielleicht der ein
it's
oder andere
really,
Glitch
really fun. It
da
feels like
waren.
it's gonna
da sein. Und das war auch ganz am Anfang. Da gab es so ein paar ich weiß nicht, wie der Fachbegriff ist, so ein paar Nachladedinger. Aber in der frühen Beta ist es völlig normal.
For you, for your experience, but also for the world and people living there.
Sounds like there's going to be a lot of changes in 𝗟𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗺, but you mentioned people, and we promised the people, you, that we would answer some of those questions, and I came prepared. So, this first question, I'm going to put you straight on the spot here.
Let's go.
And it comes from, I hope I've pronounced your name right, I'm so sorry if I didn't, 𝗟𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃. And it is the big one, because it talks matters of the heart. Will the Blood of Dawnwalker have any romance mechanics? And if it does,
also jetzt beantworten Sie Fragen der Community.
So this is a very popular question.
Und natürlich wieder eine ganz Standardfrage.
So yes, there will be 3 romance options, and you know, Coen is young. He's going on an adventure. He'll meet a lot of people there, and it's only natural that he can develop some feelings and bonds with other people, right?
Also es gibt 3, also die Frage ist, wird es Romantikmechanik geben in dem Spiel? Und die Antwort ist ja 3.
Okay.
Die sich auf natürlichem Wege entwickeln.
I'm going to be honest, and I will be rewatching this afterwards to see what you're all saying. So, live chat, I need #TeamBrentsis everywhere immediately.
Ich weiß gar nicht, was das für eine Engine ist, auf was die entwickeln.
I will accept absolutely no apologies for it. But we want to get through these thick and fast. And our next question here comes from Chris, and very conveniently, it is sort of time related. So, Chris wants to know, how will players differentiate between a quest that will progress the day-night time mechanic and those that won't?
Okay, so this will be always made very clear to you. It will be marked with this small hourglass icon. You could actually see it in the gameplay a moment ago during the dialogue scene with Florian the priest.
Suspicious priest.
The suspicious priest man. Yeah, so if we chose the confession option, the time would actually push forward, and it works the same with quests. So you'll see exactly how much time will pass when you complete any given quest, and even part of that quest. So you can actually make some choices. You can decide on your own, you know, make an informed decision if you want to, of course. And if you just want to explore the world for a while, relax, time will not move at all.
I like that. I was worried initially, would time be something that was constantly over my shoulder, worrying me, ticking away, but it's a resource, right? Not a restriction.
Exactly.
And I think that's so cool, because you can choose to spend it, but if I just want to explore 𝗟𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃, I want to go for a wander and see, I can do exactly
absolutely.
That's how I want the time mechanic to feel, so that's exciting.
Also die Frage war gerade mit Quests Tag und Nacht.
So many more questions. The list
ja,
goes
und es
on
gibt
and
halt
on,
Side-Quests und Quests, die kannst du halt tags machen. Und halt Quests, die kannst du halt nachts machen. Dann gibt es Quests, das ist völlig egal, ob du sie tags oder nachts erledigst.
Yes, and we will meet now with our senior quest designer, 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃, and layout artist Zuzanna Suska, who will tell you more about magic. And then our design director, Daniel Sadowski, and senior combat designer Janek Tyszka will jump into the topic of traversal and then, of course, combat. Take it away, guys.
You know what? I'm really glad that it's daytime.
Really? Why?
Well, because I would just freak out in the woods at night.
No kidding.
Right? Just too many creepy stuff in the dark. But I guess it's a good place to talk about magic.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know about you, but I really do believe in magic. But the kind of magic that we have in our game. So, more dark and ritualistic rather than glowing effects and rainbow auras.
Yeah, that's actually what I really like about our approach. That magic feels dangerous, like something you just shouldn't tamper with.
Oh yeah.
It's, I don't know, more organic, It revolves around blood or heat.
Ja, wir sagen es ihm, okay? Ich schicke ihm dann einen Brief,
I think
Frank,
it ties to
mit
the world itself.
deinem Wunsch.
Some places just feel different. They're connected to magic somehow or have remnants of it. You will feel it when you enter. Like old spell-casting grounds, cursed sites, they all stand out.
We even build specific cues for those spots, subtle signals that something just not quite right. You'll notice things like moths behaving in oddly mysterious ways, a natural fog, warped light, sometimes even some visual distortions. They are small things, but they will let you know that this isn't just another piece of scenery.
Yeah, okay, stop here, Patrick. Ever get that feeling that someone is watching you, even if you're like totally alone?
Well, just one of the many reasons why I don't like woods at night.
Okay. I think this is kind of the feeling we want to go for in our game. So it's not about what you see, it's about what creeps under your skin.
And speaking of skin, Zuza, I think it's worth mentioning that in order to even cast spells, Coen has to literally carve runes into his own body, like a twisted tattoo sleeve, which is insane, but also, not gonna lie, pretty metal.
Carving rune into your own flesh is bold, brutal, and there is no going back. But you need to know how to do it right.
Yeah.
And this knowledge is scattered around the game world. So you go explore, you find forgotten spells, and bit by bit you grow stronger.
Yeah, that's right.
One thing I really love about the magic and the spells is that every single spell can be upgraded. So you're not stuck on level 1 forever. And every time you unlock a new tier, it really feels like you're evolving, not just going through the motions.
And it's not a combat-heavy magic system, right? It's more strategic. Many spells revolve around support, buffs and debuffs.
Yeah, and here comes my next question to you, Patrick.
I'm listening.
Do you have your favorite spell?
Oh, well, there are a few. Rapid Scarring is one. I think it's interesting because it's more of a trade-off.
Oh, yeah.
Coen's runes beat hard for a moment, and while doing so, Coen's health replenishes, but at the same time, the maximum HP temporarily drops.
Oh yeah, risk and reward. So makes you think twice before you use it.
Exactly. But, you know, we also have combat spells, like Burning Blood, for example, which I think has a really appropriate name.
Totally, enemies start screaming in pain right away. Their skin breaks out in blisters, and if they die while it's still active, boom, dealing heavy damage around them. Delightful, really.
And nasty. And useful in crowds. So do you, Zuza, have some favorite spells? Besides Burning Blood, obviously?
Well, I think Feral Mind.
Ooh, nice.
Because it's really oddly satisfying seeing your enemies under cast of this spell. Their head and neck start rotting, eyes turn white, and they just snap. Start attacking everything around them.
I really dig the way how we show it visually. They're like wild animals.
Yeah, but that's just the beginning. Because we have even non-combat stuff like Compulso. Coen can literally drag secrets out from the dead.
For me, as a quest designer, this is really an awesome tool to tell stories. It's always optional, but if you use it, you may uncover different quest branches, gain some valuable info, or sometimes even flip the context of an entire plotline.
Geil.
What's important here, though, is that Coen is a Dawnwalker. So, he
Also
can use
löse
those magic
Rätsel,
spells
ja,
only during the day.
wiederbelebe irgendwelche Toten mit deiner Blutmagie.
Like bloody and raw, but at night they heal because of his vampiric skills. So they become just scars?
I think this is one of the key elements of being a vampire. It's that they just don't use magic.
Ja, also
I mean,
mach dir keine
even if
Sorgen,
they're
Paul, auf meinem
powerful
Kanal wird es
creatures,
noch eine ganze Menge
their
Infos
power
dazu
comes from
geben.
a
Wie
completely
gesagt, das ist
different
jetzt das
place.
erste offizielle
I don't know, maybe we can say
Livestream-Event,
that
weil
it's
bisher
rooted
gibt es ja nur den
in their
CGI-Trailer.
Or they absorb it
Die
by
Website ist
draining
auch auf
another
Deutsch.
vampire.
Der Publisher ist, glaube ich, Bandai Namco. Also sie haben sich einen großen Publisher schon geholt. Ich glaube, am Geld wird es bei denen nicht liegen. Und ich bin da absolut positiver Hoffnung, weil wie gesagt, der Mann, dem das Studio gehört, der hat Witcher 3 gemacht. Krasser Scheiß. Hat's Wasser angefangen zu dampfen. Wie geil ist das denn? Oh, wartet er jetzt, bis sie sich verwandelt? Kapitel 2.
You know, I can't believe that already more than 3 years have passed since we started working on the Blood of Dawnwalker.
Quite a journey, wasn't it? Especially
Design
since
Director und
new
Senior
brand new
Content
world and,
Director.
brand new characters.
Yeah, we had to figure out everything
Also
from
jemand, der
scratch.
fürs gesamte
What the
Design
game's about,
zuständig
what the
ist.
world is, who Coen, our
Und
main
jemand, der
hero,
fürs
is,
Kampfen
and of course
zuständig
how it
ist.
all fits
Also das
together.
Yeah, we really
Kampfsystem.
did our best to create the world which feels real. The city, all the villages.
Guckt euch die Scheiße an,
it
also
all
wenn du mir
feels
nicht sagst,
pretty
dass das
unique.
nicht gut
Yeah,
aussieht, weiß ich
Svartrau,
nicht.
for example, has this urban medieval atmosphere, which we contrast with quiet villages like Laslia, where Coen is from.
Well, we also have swamps, forests, mountains, caves, ruins, and everything is there for a reason to, you know, tell the story. I even have my favorite tree.
Yeah, well, the narrative does go deep, doesn't it? And I mean, that wasn't the only thing that was important to us. Every game element had to make sense from a gameplay perspective as well.
Yeah, that's why we had to make exploration both fun and intuitive. So things like well-functioning map is a must-have.
Yeah, and I think that's what's cool about our game is that even from almost the very beginning, the whole world, the whole map is fully accessible to the player.
That's what I love. You can just dive into the world and everything opens up. You can do what you want to do. And there is so much to do and there's so much to discover.
Yeah, and not just the settlements, of course. There are other cool places, like shrines, haunted sites, bandit camps.
Hidden monster nests or treasure spots.
Of course, and much more. And I mean, the key is, of course, observation and exploration, if you want to uncover these secrets.
Yeah.
But you never have to go too far before stumbling upon something interesting.
Which is actually the main reason we are here today. Coen needs to reach those points of interest somehow.
Indeed, and since everything in our game is tied to this duality of our main character, both human and vampire sides of Coen bring unique elements to the game. Even the way you explore changes depending on time.
Yeah, during the day, Coen walks, runs, jumps, you know, human stuff.
Yeah, but then the night comes and everything changes.
Mhm. Wenn die Nacht kommt, also wenn die Nacht kommt, hat er ganz andere Fähigkeiten. Du hast tagsüber andere Fähigkeiten wie nachts oder nachts wie tags, wie auch immer.
So, night. That's when Coen's vampiric side takes over, and he gains access to new vampiric abilities that were previously hidden.
Also sie wollen das ja auch wirklich getreu, wie ihr das seht, wo die ja langlatschen, ne? Das macht ihr ja nicht umsonst. Da wo das Spiel nachher spielt, das ist ja in Osteuropa, das wollen sie ja nachstellen. In der Zeit, ich weiß gar nicht, wann war die Pest in Europa? Kann das mal jemand in den Chat schreiben? Wäre cool, weil ich weiß nämlich nicht mehr. Von der Zeit her.
It's Shadow Step. I think it really adds a cool layer to the game. And even in the early prototypes, it was just so fun to, for example, traverse the rooftops using that ability. I would run on a rooftop, jump into the air, shadow step onto another rooftop. It just made me feel real powerful.
Yeah, it's extremely cool. But you know, for me, it's more of a plane shift. The way I can walk on walls or walk upside down
Ja,
on
an
the
der Wand
ceiling,
hochlaufen, geiler
makes me
Scheiß.
feel like I'm a hunter
Das
sneaking
kannst du dann
up upon a
tagsüber.
unsuspecting prey.
1300.
Yeah, and let's not forget about Glow
1346, okay.
Ride, which allows you to
Ja, das ist halt
quickly
der Zeitraum, wo
scale
das Spiel halt
down
spielt, ne,
walls
im
or
13.
mountain
Jahrhundert.
cliffs using Coens' vampire claws.
Das dunkle
It's
Jahrhundert,
also
oder?
super effective at surprising enemies.
Yeah, there are so many other abilities. One more, actually, allows Coen to travel super fast through the valley.
Yeah, that's true. It's a cool alternative to the default fast travel option.
Yeah, and that's what's great, all the different things you can do. You can even solely play as a human or as a vampire. It's all up to your preferences.
And that's the beauty of it. No matter the playstyle you decide on, it's all about immersion and the freedom of choice.
And vampires.
And vampires.
Ja, das ist immer nur, das ist, klar ist das keine Filmgrafik, keine Game-Grafik. Damit stellen sie im Prinzip nur, das ist die Zwischensequenzen. Finde ich gut gemacht. Sie stellen damit das Kapitel vor. Man hätte es auch ganz einfach machen können, schwarzer Bildschirm, Kapitel 1, 2, 3. Guck mal, das ist Kapitel 3. Blade and Clown, also Klingen und Klauen.
Do you remember our first conversations we had about the combat in the Blood of Dawnwalker?
Yeah, I remember we had this very long list of ideas and things we wanted to achieve, didn't we?
Yeah,
Wir hatten eine sehr, sehr lange Liste an
Dark
Ideen.
fantasy or vampires, very specific stuff comes to mind. Same goes for medieval, gritty or grounded.
Yeah, and we wanted to achieve something that felt like real medieval sword fight, where every swing, every block, it carried weight.
Yeah, it had to be challenging for sure, but also accessible and adjustable for difficulty levels. And that also makes perfect sense from the story perspective. You know, Coen was trained by his father, that's all he knows. He never picked up a bow, never trained with axes. Sword is his domain.
As is yours, actually, right? I mean, your real-life sword-fighting experience brought a lot to the project, and the idea to add directionality to our game's combat, well, that was a true game changer.
Totally. We wanted combat to be
Ja, tagsüber kämpft halt mit dem
immersive and
Schwert.
cinematic.
Yeah, and it works. I mean, you feel like you are in the fight. You have to watch the enemy, watch from which direction they attack, block that direction, and then counterattack correctly. You cannot just start.
Also hast du gesehen, wir haben auch Ausdauer
And when
tagsüber,
more
ne?
enemies appear, things get a little
Und
bit
die
more
Gegner haben auch
interesting, don't they?
Ausdauer. Das heißt, du musst halt so lange blocken oder parieren, bis die Ausdauer halt
So
runter
when
ist
you are
vom
fighting a
Gegner.
group, they are smart. They are not just waiting their turn. They swap around, switch positions, flank you, rotate around
Natürlich
you.
gibt es kein
work
Spiel,
together to
was
take you
keine
down.
Bugs hat.
And I think that's what I love the most about
Weil
our game.
Käfer und Spieler gehören
It
immer
doesn't
zusammen.
just look cool. The combat is also tactical.
Yeah, we
Ich glaube,
actually
so
took
viel
a
Geld
lot of
kriegen sie nicht
inspiration
von
from
Bandai Namco, um da gleich einen
RPGs.
Film draus
And
zu
the
machen.
question, how do you want to do this? And it's pretty funny because at first we thought that complexity of combats could be a little bit too overwhelming for less agile players.
Yeah, but then iteration after iteration, playtest after playtest, we managed to find a sweet spot.
Kopf ab, Level
Yeah, on lower
16.
difficulty levels, combat still requires some focus, that's for sure, but enemies are more forgiving and you have more time to react.
That was important to us. We wanted the game to be fun to both more experienced players as well as those who just want to focus more on the story.
Ja, aber was macht Nintendo für Spiele?
So, the combat at night. As a vampire, Coen gains
Aber ja, du hast
access
recht,
to new
Frank.
options.
Yeah,
Aber
you can
dennoch,
switch to
Nintendo
fighting
macht doch
with
nicht solche
claws.
Spiele.
It's still directional, but it's more instinctive, more savage. And of course, vampires can still fight with swords and mix sword combat with pure vampiric savagery.
We have even more differences between day and night from the combat perspective.
True, as a human, you can lay down your sword and let the fists do the talking.
Good old fist fights, when you wanna feel the weight of each punch, whether you're taking it or throwing it.
And during daytime, you have access to magic, which is inaccessible to vampires.
Yeah, as a vampire, however, you gain access to new cool powers, blood-fueled ones.
And speaking of blood, in the Blood of Dawnwalker, health is of course tied to this dual day versus night gameplay loop that we have.
Yeah, during the day, it's simple. Coen has standard health bar with no regeneration over time.
But during the night, blood hunger kicks in.
Yeah, his health bar splits into segments, and once he drops into the lowest one, the blood hunger fully kicks in.
Yeah, and that's not just cosmetic. If Coen is hungry and you're not careful, he may even devour someone he cares about.
So we have to make sure
Tja, wenn wir
that
ein paar
it's
Leute
never
aussaugen
vague.
müssen.
Player will get visual and audio cues.
Yeah, and
Ich gehe hundertprozentig davon aus, dass es hundertprozentig eine Trophäe gibt. Ja, was weiß ich, kein Durst oder schmeckt mir nicht oder der Wein ist schal, heißt dann die Trophäe und das bedeutet dann, ich schließe das Spiel ab, ohne einen Zivilisten ausgetrunken zu haben. Goldtrophäe oder so.
But let's just say, interesting things start to happen when you do that.
Es ist nicht nachtlastig, das stimmt nicht. Das Spiel hat, das nochmal zur Erklärung. Das Spiel, das weißt du ja nicht, hat einen Tag-Nacht-Wechsel. Weißt du, einen Tag-Nacht-Wechsel.
And before we wrap up, there's one more thing we have to do.
Das wusstest du ja nicht.
Will you do the honors?
Es gibt Missionen, die musst du nachts machen, es gibt Missionen, die musst du tags machen und manche Missionen ist es völlig Humpe. Ja, zieht die Schottenröcke an und los geht's. Oder so.
Welcome back, everybody.
Ganz meine Musik, ey,
Dominica and
ohne
I are
Scheiß.
still here, and we are ready to answer even more of your questions. But first, I have to talk about the combat system. We now know that it's directional combat, but it's focused on the world around Coen and on his enemies instead of being introverted.
Yeah. So you can immerse yourself in each encounter, observe your enemies, their movements. And what I really like about this as well is that it's very responsive. So you can quickly change your mind and pick a different attack or block or use a skill instead.
I've been lucky enough to play around with it a little bit, and one of the things I really enjoyed about flipping the directional combat, I didn't feel like I needed to spend 6 hours working out how to do it, only to then struggle. It felt so intuitive and so quick to learn, but really enjoyable. It was fast, it was frantic, but it just made each fight worth being in. It was so epic. It was so much fun.
Yeah. We took our time to polish it and just make it, fun and just feel great to play.
Well, it felt it when I got my hands on it, I won't lie. And speaking of well-polished, speaking of epic, that new song as well.
It is a great song, isn't it? It was composed by our in-house composer, 𝗟𝗃𝗀𝗀𝗃𝗃, who is, of course, joined by a team of super talented musicians. And you could actually see him in the video playing this weird instrument called hurdy-gurdy.
Okay. We're going to move on as fast as possible to the questions, because if I have to say hurdy-gurdy more than once, this whole thing is going to fall to pieces. So straight back to the questions we go. I am still prepared. And the next question for you, Dominika, comes from Professor CGK. Now, this is a really interesting question. We've seen that obviously there's so many decisions in the Blood of Dawnwalker, but will some of those decisions make you more or less vampire?
This is such a great question, and there's so many layers to it because, so first we have the skill trees, of course, right? So you'll enhance your abilities and that will make you, of course, more and more of a vampire. Then we have the blood drinking. You can choose to drink human blood, you can choose to drink animal blood. And I would
Kann man auch einen Vampir austrinken?
Human blood, will make you a bit more of a vampire, get you more to the vampire side, especially that you can also drain blood of some important NPCs. Next, you can skip time and try to play only at night, fully embracing your vampiric side. And there's, of course, the narrative layer, so all the different stories and quests and decisions you have to make and how you will personally feel about them, but also what kind of consequences they might bring.
Okay, so Professor CGK, the answer was yes, 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 and yes.
And yes.
Fantastic, okay.
Also du kannst alle austrinken, aber es gibt Konsequenzen. Also du kannst also nicht gleich ein ganzes Dorf leer trinken. Ne? Also es gibt definitiv Konsequenzen, wenn du anfängst, alle NPCs leer zu trinken. Ist ja geil. Kommst in Dorf und trinkst sie alle aus. Was für eine Frage. Aber ist berechtigt.
Okay, so there are two sides to this question as well. And we have this global notoriety system. So basically, the more visible action you take against Brancis, the more reputation or notoriety you will gain. And Brancis will take notice and he will try to make your life more difficult, issuing all these different edicts. And they will affect you, but they will also affect the world and other people. But it might also open up some new possibilities for you, at the same time. I'm sure that enemies of the Brancis regime will appreciate your infamy here.
That makes sense. I mean, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? So that does make sense. That's on the broader side, but as you've mentioned before, each individual NPC will kind of have an impact too, right?
Yeah, that's the other side. So it's not strictly reputation, but again, your decisions will matter. So depending on them, some people might be more or less inclined to work with you or just to help you out.
Okay, well, it feels like there's going to be an impactful decision at pretty much every single corner. Next question. We are getting through them as thick and as fast as we can. Now, previously we'd mentioned that the Blood of Dawnwalker will have no microtransactions, which I am very much a fan of. we have a couple of questions that I'm going to kind of merge together from Salandis and Kaido. They've asked whether the Blood of Dawnwalker is going to have any sort of early access or demo, maybe tied to some sort of digital deluxe or something like that.
Also wird es eine Early Access Version zur Full-Version gehen zum Start?
We want to focus on delivering a great experience for you guys at launch. And what I can also say is that we are not going to have any kind of in-game digital perks connected to pre-orders or other paywalls because we just want to treat everyone the same.
I mean, that seems reasonable. You shouldn't be punished for finding the Blood of Dawnwalker late, right? We have the first stream up on YouTube channel. Maybe you find us in the third one. But I like that.
Yes.
But I think that's fair. I think it's nice to deliver the game as intended to all the players on the launch day.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Okay.
Also alle Spieler werden zum Launch das Spiel spielen. Kein Early Access, keine Demo, keine Paywall, keine Mikrotransaktion. Ganz einfaches Oldschool-Spiel, ohne diesen ganzen Schnickschnack vorher, wobei eine Demo geil gewesen wäre.
Okay, so there is a lot, so I have a cheat sheet prepared here, so I can read them all to you and not miss anything. So yes, so first of all, we'll have full localization, meaning like a full VO, subtitles, UI elements, everything basically in English, French, Italian, German, Spanish and Polish.
Ja.
And then we are going to have the text localization, meaning subtitles and UI elements in Brazilian Portuguese, Mexican Spanish, Korean, traditional Chinese, simplified Chinese, Japanese, Turkish, Czech and Hungarian.
Fantastic. That is a lot.
Wow.
The cheat sheet
Das letzte, was aufgezählt hat, ist der Untertitel. Das erste, was aufgezählt hat, ist, in welchen Sprachen das Spiel rauskommt. Denn ich hatte ja schon am Anfang gesagt, dass das definitiv in Deutsch rauskommt. Na, sie haben, ich glaube, 5 Sprachen hat sie jetzt aufgezählt, wo also mit deutscher Synchro. Für uns ist das ja wichtig. Oder für mich zumindest.
And we're doing our best to have as many options as we can. And we will be looking into more.
Mein Englisch ist auch ein bisschen eingerostet, merke ich gerade.
We cannot promise anything at this moment, so you know it might be not possible to have any other localization options for the launch or even later. We'll see. We'll let you know if anything changes.
Die Frage ist, wann ist der Launch?
Deliver what we're promising rather than promise and not get
Aber
there.
vor 26 nicht.
I like it. But much like Coen, we are starting to run out of time. But we still have so many questions. So I know you're going to be answering even more questions in Discord after the stream, right?
Yes, yes. I do want to answer as many of your questions as we
Ja,
can
es
without
werden ganz viele
spoiling
Fragen
anything,
gerade
of course.
im Twitch-Chat
So head over to our
gestellt.
Discord server if you want to learn more about the Blood of Dawnwalker. And I will be joining you guys in a few moments. Just need a short break first. Livestreams are stressful, you guys.
Also Discord-Server gibt es, Instagram,
no
Facebook, X, YouTube logischerweise.
Und die Studenten reagieren gut auf meine Lehrmethoden.
Die Psychobiotikerin!
Dich mach ich fertig! Rodriguez, wir haben ja nicht mal eine Chance gegen nasses Klopapier.
Ne, gibt halt kein nasses Klopapier, das ist voller Blut.
Yes, and you should have
Next
them all
year, hat er
popping
schon
up on the
gesagt.
screen right about now. And remember, the game is releasing in 2026 and you can wishlist it already on Steam, PlayStation Store and Xbox Store.
You can indeed. That's where you should go right after the Discord Q&A.
Yeah.
But that is it from us. It has been an absolute pleasure to have you here, Dominika, so thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Lionheart. Thank you all for joining us today. We really appreciate you being here, and we'll probably meet again for the next full Wolf Moon event. But before that, we will of course be sharing more info on our social media channels about the game, gameplay, characters, lore, everything. So make sure to follow us there. And while we won't be showcasing the game
Also wir fassen gleich nochmal zusammen, bleibt dran, ne, bitte?
We will be attending a couple of them, starting with Gamescom. So yeah, stay tuned for more info on that. And we might have another thing or two to share before that next live stream, but I'll keep some surprises.
Okay, we started with a tease, and how else could we end but with a tease as well? However, that is everything from us today. Thank you so much for joining us. Stay safe, and we will see you soon.
Thank you and bye.
Okay. Kurze Pause, dann quatschen wir mal drüber und machen alles da nochmal, ja, ganz kurz. So. Wow. Ja, wir fassen jetzt gleich nochmal alles zusammen. Da ist ja Alarm da draußen. Sekunde, ganz kurz. Okay, fassen wir mal jetzt nochmal alles zusammen, was wir über das Spiel wissen. Sorry gerade, ich war jetzt nicht so völlig kaputt im Kopf. Okay. Genau, 2026 ist geplant. Abwarten, Kaffee trinken, richtig. Also, was wissen wir über das Spiel? Es kommt in 5 Sprachen raus. Deutsch ist eine davon. Es ist ein storygetriebenes Rollenspiel, was natürlich Action-Elemente drin hat. Bei den Action-Elementen wird es 2 Formen geben. Nachts bist du als Vampir unterwegs, tags als, keine Ahnung, gezeichneter oder als, naja, Dämmerungsläufer. Dawn heißt ja Dämmerung. Ja, Dawnwalker. Was wissen wir noch? Auch was die Storys angeht. Es gibt Storys, also oder Quests angeht, die sind tags. Es gibt Quests, die sind nachts. Was wissen wir noch? Jetzt habe ich so viel im Kopf, dass mir alles auseinanderfällt hier. Ja, man sieht natürlich ganz klar die Handschrift, das wollte ich jetzt nochmal sagen. Also es spielt ungefähr im 13. Jahrhundert, ne? Haben wir ja vorhin schon, 13. Jahrhundert in der Zeit, wo die Pest im Prinzip halb Europa gefressen hat. Es spielt in Osteuropa, das haben wir ja schon gesehen. Wir sehen auch im Hintergrund ja die Burg. Das könnte man einfach mal machen. Also die Webseite kann ich euch wirklich nur empfehlen. Googelt ruhig mal. Achso, es gibt natürlich, gibt's sie auf allen Plattformen, wo auch immer. Also ich wäre echt ein schlechter Vampir. Ich würde nachts echt pennen. Und tags rumlaufen und mich in der Sonne verbrennen oder so. Ist aber völliger Quatsch. Also es wird definitiv in meinem Kanal laufen. Wenn es natürlich 2026 rauskommt, wird es richtig große Konkurrenz kriegen. Mit anderen Rollenspielen. Vielleicht nicht in dem Genre, wissen wir ja aktuell noch nicht. Boah, mal abwarten. Also... das, was wir jetzt gesehen haben an Gameplay, fand ich auch wieder total lustig, ne? Du kämpfst halt gegen einen Big Boss, der dich einfach platzen lässt. Weil du zu schwach bist. Bist du zu schwach, platzt du einfach. Ja, also ich fand das vorhin lustig. Die Fähigkeiten, unterschiedliche Fähigkeiten. Was interessant auch noch war, ist das Menü. Achso, es wird definitiv Crafting-Möglichkeiten geben. Also haben wir ja ganz am Anfang gesehen. Mit Schmied, mit jemand, der deine Rüstung irgendwie macht, hatten sie. Mit einem ganz normalen Händler hatten sie auch. Interessant nochmal mit dem Trinksystem. Apropos Trinken. Prost. Gab es halt auch 2 Abstufungen, wenn du einen leer süffelst oder wenn du einen halt aussaugst nachts als Vampir, dass du den ja nicht töten musst. Dann, was noch interessant war, bei den Story-Quests, was sie gezeigt haben, diese Zeit, ne, die abläuft und du musst dich entscheiden, macht einen hohen Wiederspielwert. Genau, es gab Buffs, wahrscheinlich wenn du eine Knackwurst isst, aus Blutwurst, ja, hast du einen Buff. Ein Blutwurst-Buff. Und die Buffs gibt es auch, das haben sie auch gesagt. Genau, richtig. Also wow, ich müsste mal richtig ausführliches Video darüber machen. Ja, also ich weiß auf jeden Fall schon mal viel mehr. Ich verfolge dieses Spiel insgeheim im Dunkeln schon ganz lange. Ja, weil seit der Ankündigung, dass der Game-Direktor von Witcher 3 CD Projekt Red, wie auch immer, verlässt und ein eigenes Studio, Rebel Moon, aufmacht, habe ich das verfolgt. Weil man muss ja nicht allen, oder man muss es ja eigentlich nicht sagen, es ist ja eigentlich bekannt, dass Witcher 3 in Europa das am bestbewerteten Rollenspiel ist seit über 10 Jahren. Ach ja, genau. Es gibt 3 also nach aber die Buff ist dann die Knoblauchwurst. Genau. Der Debuff ist dann die Knoblauchwurst. Naja, du bist ja kein richtiger Vampir, ne? Also guckt euch den Story-Trailer bei mir auf meinem Kanal an, der ist auf Deutsch. Ich kann es nur empfehlen. Zum einen, die Buffs fand ich halt gut. Ja, Romantik wird es geben. Und es gibt halt Konsequenzen. Du kannst halt nicht hingehen und ein ganzes Dorf aussaugen. Ja, dann wird wahrscheinlich vom Himmel der Blitz kommen und sagen, ciao Kakao oder so, keine Ahnung. Also wie sie das lösen, weiß ich nicht. Ja. Wie war denn das eigentlich in Witcher? Ach ja, genau. In Witcher 3 in Novigrad. Also für mich, dieser Ort, wo das spielt, ja, das ist ja eine Burg mit einer Kathedrale davor, die im Bau wahrscheinlich ist. Es wird auch nicht so groß sein wie Witcher, keine Frage. Da wird auch nur, das, was wir heute gesehen haben und das, was The Blood of Dawnwalker, ist nur Episode 1. Ja, oder Teil 1. Soweit ich das recherchiert habe, sollen weitere Teile folgen. Kommt natürlich auf den Erfolg drauf an. Ja? Man merkt einfach auch vom Song, also von der Musik her, auch wieder alles handgemacht, die Musik. Richtig, richtig gut. Ihr habt es ja auch vorhin gesehen. Zum einen für mich hat der Kampfmodus vorhin sehr an den Vampir erinnert aus dem DLC Blood and Wine von Witcher 3. Könnt ihr euch noch dran erinnern? Ich weiß gar nicht, wie hieß denn der? Der hat auch so einen komischen Namen. Ja, das Menü war auch sehr übersichtlich zu sehen, ne? Und wenn ich richtig geguckt habe, bis Stufe 30 ging's. Ja, ich mache mich da jetzt nochmal schlau. Vielleicht mache ich dazu nochmal ein Video. Ich halte euch aber definitiv auf dem Laufenden, was das angeht. Keine Frage. Ich bin sehr, sehr gespannt. Und ich finde es gut, dass sie es einfach halten. Ach so, was ich noch sagen wollte, es gibt natürlich nachher Möglichkeiten, bestimmte Builds zu bauen. Mit Rüstung. Gab es ja bei Geralt von Riva auch. Ja. Du konntest ja bestimmte Builds mit bestimmten Rüstungen machen. Das, was ich noch weiß, was sie hier aber nicht erzählt haben, ist, dass der Loot handverteilt ist. Das heißt also nicht mit einer KI, wir legen überall Loot hin, sondern der Loot ist handverteilt. Das heißt also, das Spiel ist wirklich handmade. Und sie werkeln halt, glaube ich, auch schon seit 5 Jahren daran rum oder so, wenn ich es richtig verstanden habe. Ja. Also dürfen wir weiter gespannt sein. Ich werde es auf jeden Fall im Auge behalten. Für mich ist das ein Kandidat definitiv auf meiner Playlist. Und natürlich auch im Stream nachher. Ja. Ist halt ein Singleplayer-Rollenspiel im Dark Fantasy. Ja. Paula, habe ich noch was vergessen? Nee, oder? Achso, was noch nicht klar ist, also wie Unreal Engine 5 sieht es für mich nicht aus. Aber ich erkenne die sowieso da nicht wirklich die Unterschiede. Ich bin da nicht sehr gut. Lasst mir gerne ein Däumchen oben da, würde mich mega freuen, wenn ihr meinen Kanal weiter supportet. Nächste Woche, glaube ich schon, nächste oder übernächste Woche geht's los mit Robocop. Ja, das wird geil. Nächste Woche Robocop oder übernächste Woche. In Gedenken an Schein. Ja, die Tätowierungen sind ja, das sind ja Blutzeichen. Stimmt, das waren ja diese Fähigkeiten. Er hat sich ja vorhin auch im Kampf, was das Kampfsystem angeht, in die Hand geschnitten und hat im Prinzip einen Teil des Blutes seines Gegners verbrannt. Also Magie in Anführungsstrichen wird es so dann auch geben. Ja, dann halt der Schattenschritt, das fand ich halt sehr interessant und dass du halt einer Wand hochgehen kannst, ganz normal. Der Wand hochgehen. Spider-Man schwingt sich hoch, der läuft da hoch. Gut. Hab ich noch was irgendwie? Nee. Ich weiß nicht, ob du das vorhin mitgekriegt hast, Harald. Der Kampf gegen den Endboss. Der Endboss ist irgend so ein alter Vampir. Oder eine Vampirin. Ich weiß nicht, ob es da Männlein oder Weiblein gibt bei Vampiren, weil so pflanzen die sich an fort, aber egal. Die war halt stärker wie ihn und ja, Kampf, die hat sich auch im Kampf hochgeheilt. Ausdauer gibt's auch. Eine Ausdauerleiste. Interessanterweise, wenn du im Vampir-Modus bist, habe ich vorhin drauf geachtet, geht die kaum runter. Wenn du im Menschenmodus bist, also tagsüber, geht deine Ausdauer schneller runter. Ja, Moralsystem, das hatten sie ja vorhin auch gesagt, es wird halt Konsequenzen geben, du kannst halt nicht in ein Dorf gehen und alle aussaufen. Also. Aber du kannst NPCs trinken, also deinen Hunger stillen als Vampir. Also es sind noch einige Fragen offen, ich denke mal, dass noch eine Veranstaltung kommen wird. Ich finde es halt richtig cool an dieser Stelle. Man sollte ein Auge drauf haben. Ich glaube, das wird ein kleines, gutes, handgemachtes Action-Rollenspiel geben. Auch mit HDR und Raytracing. Ja, weil es wird ja absolut Sinn machen, mit so einer Kulisse nachher Raytracing reinzubauen. Gerade was macht man aber halt wirklich am Ende, ne? einer Spieleentwicklung und da sind sie ja noch nicht. Gerade was die geworfenen Schatten bei Fackeln oder sowas angehen. Und man hat ja hier auch schon Schatten gesehen. Ja genau, die Tötung durch Trinken oder halt nur Durst löschen. Genau. Also bin ich gespannt. Und ich gehe einfach davon aus, dass es dann auch ein Achievement geben wird. Alles auf meinem Kanal, wenn es dann soweit ist. Bis dahin, wir sehen uns spätestens nächste Woche oder so, weil Doom ist für mich einfach mittlerweile durch. Ich werde Doom nicht weiterspielen. Nur mal so nebenbei am Rand. Das scheint aber geil zu werden. Achso, keine Paywall, ne? Es gibt kein Early Access, es gibt aber auch keine Demo bisher. Abwarten, Blut trinken, also oder Tee, wie auch immer. Ein Gothic Remake, ne? Da bin ich mal gespannt, wie gut dieses Remake von Gothic ist. Ich bin, was Gothic angeht, sehr skeptisch. Aber egal. Ich bin raus für heute, bleibt gesund, bleibt sauber. Ciao, Kakao. Geiles Spiel.